welcome. It's nice to be back with you again. Well, this week's action, which is coming up in just a couple of moments, is from the very top of the second division, where yesterday's leaders York entertained the League New boys Fulham, and there was a great match in prospect. Well, elsewhere, it was a particularly bad weekend for Warrington. On Saturday, they tumbled out of the semi-final of the 3-5s Challenge Cup, beaten 17-9 by Widnes, and yesterday they lost top spot in the Slalom Lager First Division, well beaten by the division's top try scorers of the day, Bradford Northern. Well, later I'll have the very latest rugby league news of the day, but first it's on with the action. And our cameras were at York to see if the home side could hold on to the second division leadership and keep out those pushy newcomers from the south, Fulham. York have lost only 3 times this season, a fine turnaround after 2 very mixed years. Promotion in May 1979 and relegation a year later. Well, Fulham, on the other hand, have shown lots of promise and determination in their first year that's seen them become instant promotion candidates. Well, joining us to add his expert comment is a man who wore the colours of 6 Yorkshire clubs, including York, top point scorer Neil Fox. But first you'll hear from our match commentator, Keith Mackley.
York are top of Division 2. They've played 21 matches, won 18 and lost 3, and they want the Division 2 championship in addition to promotion. They're in a strong position with a match in hand and 2 points clear of Wigan and Fulham, together with a better points difference. They lost at Huddersfield, Wigan and Fulham, and that 23-5 defeat at Craven Cottage was their biggest league defeat. They were relegated last season and are something of a yo-yo side between the divisions. And at standoff is John Crossley, who's scored 28 tries this season and last week beat the current second division seasonal try-scoring record set up last season by Jeff Munro of Oldham. He also equalled Bill Burgess's, he used to play for Barrow, all-time Division 2 record. And the York club record, by the way, is held by Jeff Smith with 34 in 1962-63. Fulham, the pioneering team based on the soccer club headquarters at Craven Cottage. Their first season success has exceeded their wildest hopes in terms of both gates and success. They've played 22 games, won 17 and lost 5, 4 of them away from Craven Cottage. The mainspring and inspiration of the Fulham side, Reggie Bowden, the scrum half and player coach, who must have strangely mixed feelings after the semi-final success of Widnes. Widnes will be at Wembley on May the 2nd, and this time Reggie will not be there to lead them. His consolation could be leading his team of bargain basement signings, Widnes expatriates, old heads and young hopefuls to promotion in their first season. The referee, Billy Thompson of Huddersfield. A fine sunny afternoon with a big crowd and a great atmosphere. Fulham to kick off Ian McCorkadale, who's scored over 2,000 points in his career. Made a comeback with Fulham, like so many players who may have thought their career was over. And that's Price fielding the ball for York. York to drive it out of defence. Big front row forward, Alan Wardell. And possession lost already. Mr. Thompson says play on, despite element of knock-on about McCorkadale's pickup. So Fulham in a strong position in these opening minutes. That's Roy Lester hammering in 20 yards out. Behind him at the play the ball is Joe Doherty. Hull on the burst goes Ward. Fulham in their black. Oh, there's a knock on wide. Doherty, rather a poor one too. He didn't really get hold of that ball. So let off for York. And the touch judge is coming on. He's probably seen a punch thrown, and it looks as if David Hull might be spoken to, the Fulham loose forward. One of the many ex-Widnes men in this side, David Hull, formerly St Helens and Widnes, getting a ticking off. Still York with White and Dunkerley. And a fist may well have gone in again, because the touch judge from the far side is coming across, and this could be another penalty to York. And it's Doherty who this time gets the ticking off, and York who get a penalty. Now is Morgan going to kick at goal? It's certainly within a kicker's distance. Yes, Terry Morgan is going to take a kick at goal. It's fairly straight, and 37 to 38 yards. out from the Fulham post. Terry Morgan, who's already kicked 53 goals this season. It's over, and so York go into a 2-0 lead with that penalty goal from Terry Morgan.
Yes, well, this is a kick that's very important to the York fans. Terry Morgan kicks it very well. It goes high and straight between. It's 2-0 to York.
That's Wood, who played with Widnes and Wigan before joining Fulham. Bowden selling a dummy, running off the ball, and this is good running by the young second row forward Martin Herdman. Got a Welsh international cap this season, but he's lost possession, and it's a scrum. Martin Herdman, martial arts devotee.
Yes, well, Fulham just working this move with Herdman, and he dive goes straight into McDermott and catches him with his head, I think. It looks like a jaw injury.
Yes, indeed. Paul McDermott, face bleeding, is carried from the field on a stretcher. Certainly an accidental head collision between Martin Herdman and Paul McDermott then. And that's a bad blow for York, because McDermott has scored 21 tries this season. And what a push. What a push. And where's the ball under that lot? Somebody has it, because Mr. Thompson is telling Fulham to get back, so presumably York possession. Yes, indeed. Kevin Harkin. Oh, and he dropped it. So it's a scrum. Harkin, in his keenness to get the ball played, dropped it. So scrum down. Bowden comes away on the blind side. A reverse pass to Cambriani, the Welsh Youth International. He's going down that touchline. Can he beat the cover? Cambriani trying to swerve outside his man. Oh, what a good try. Adrian Cambriani, the former Welsh Youth International, and he's so pleased.
Well, this is Reg Bowden going the blind side of the scrum and giving it insight to Cambriani. Cambriani's going down and beating Kirkbride. He's coming up to the full-back any moment now. Trevor Midgley's coming across. He's coming across his Trevor for him. Now, I think Trevor must have him here. But no, Cambriani takes him on the outside and dives over in the corner. A brilliant try.
Oh, he's missed it. So the score is York 2, Fulham 3 after 15 minutes of play. This time York possession. And Harkin trying to slip round the blind side, and Bowden takes him back to where he started. Kirkbride, former Wakefield Trinity player and coach. That's Dunkerley. Harkin attacking half-back. Crossley to Sheard. Oh, nice break by Sheard. He's got Price outside him. Gives it to Price. Two men between Price and the line. He got past Ganley and taken by Noonan. Noonan saving the line. York wanting to run it in now before the Fulham defence regathers. There's Crossley. Crossley and Adams. 5 yards from the line. Fulham still trying to regroup as Crossley moves it to Sheard, to Harkin, to Redford. Redford sending a dummy, trying to get to, gets it to Harkin. Harkin's in. Harkin in for a try. A lovely move. York keeping it going while York was still gathering their defences. And Harkin finally the scorer.
But it goes on to the centre, and the centre out to Harkin. Harkin waiting for support here. He sees another centre, Redford, who goes inside Cambriani. Inside one tackle, two tackles. Harkin's there, 5 yards from the line. He sees a gap, he pounces for it, and it's over his Harkin to put York back in front.
5-3, and they'll be 7-3 in front if Terry Morgan can land this kick. It's just to the left of the post, but a short distance, about 18 to 20 yards. Every possibility of kicking it to put York 7-3 into the lead. No, he's pulled it wide, and, well, that's one Terry Morgan will wish he'd kicked, because it's hardly likely to be a runaway score this afternoon, and 7-3 would have looked better than 5-3.
Morgan's coming in now for the kick. It's a very vital kick for Terry, but he just pulls it wide of this post. It's a pity because they could have done with that with about 15 minutes to go.
But York moving it now with spirit. They've had a spell on defence, now they're moving out into attack, and very attractively too. And this is their second row forward, Brendan White again. He and Butch Adams, a really lively second row. Harkin to Crossley. Crossley sidestepping his way through, putting it as Dunkley comes on the burst over the 25-yard line. Spirited stuff this by York. They're 20 yards out. And that try by Harkin has really enlivened them. Harkin again, going himself, he could do it, he must score! Oh, what a lovely try! What a great piece of intelligent thinking, kicking and backing up by Harkin. 2 tries in 2 minutes. Beautiful scrum half play.
We can see it, and Kevin Harkin just taking a little pop over Reggie Bowden's head. You can see there's no fullback there. Kevin follows it up, and it looks as though it's going to be a try here. It's a brilliant try for Kevin. He's only going to dive on the ball, and there he is. Another try, very near the post.
And Morgan, well, this is even easier than the last one, and 10-3 would give Fulham a lot to do and put York firmly in the driving seat. Here's Morgan. Yes, it's there.
Well, here we see Terry Morgan taking a simpler goal than last time, and it's going straight between the post. A very good score for York.
The Crocodiles, the kick-off. Kicking wide to put the defence under pressure, and it goes into touch. It'll be a scrum. To put the ball in and to take it out, though it wheeled and comes out to Cambriani. That was York's heel, but Cambriani picked it up as it rolled out to scrum. Well, he's running hard, but going sideways at the moment. He runs into a very hard tackle by Redford, and Mr. Thompson coming in to sort it out. Could well give a penalty to Fulham after this. Redford's tackle on Cambriani was over-enthusiastic, and it'll be a penalty to Fulham. And it's well within Ian McCorquodale's compass, and it's very straight. So McCorquodale will kick at goal. Willie Thompson, experienced Test international referee, and Ian McCorquodale. Well, the length won't worry McCorquodale, and the height won't. Certainly his accuracy will be in question on this one. McCorquodale once virtually won a Lancashire Cup final for Workington Town with his kicks. Now to try to bring Fulham back into this game. A beauty, right through the middle. A lesson in kicking, and Neil Fox used to flout them over himself just like that.
Well, this is a very important for Corkerdale and for the Fulham team, because just before half-time, he's got to kick this to put them back into the game. And it goes very high indeed and straight between the post. A great kick.
It's in now, and it's come out to Bowden, who gets it quickly to Allen. Oh, and Ganley's up in the line and running well, but good tackle. Sheard and Midgley both got him. But Ganley coming up in the line dangerously. This is Noonan. Noonan's still going, and he's 5 yards from the line. Fulham have had so much of this pressure but only once have they been able to pierce the defence, and that was Cambriani from long distance. But there's Ganley, and he's a foot away. And he didn't touch down. Mr. Thompson went to have a good look at it. He was held on his back, but that was pretty close to a try by Ganley. Mr. Thompson was right there to see if he could put it down, and he couldn't. And very close to the line, Fulham now again looking for the heel, and York wanting it to get out of trouble. As we approach half-time, a score now to both sides could be vital in the winning or losing of this match. 10-5 to York. Fulham trying to get back into the game, and again they get the ball. They've had a glut of possession so far this half. Bowden gets it out to McCorkadale. McCorkadale bringing it right, swings the ball across, picked up by Aspie, who runs inside again, still going, looking for support to Hull. Hull straightens it up. Oh, and he overdoing it a little, and it's lost. Great chance lost by Fulham. It was the fullback Ganley who lost possession when Fulham are again looking dangerous, and certainly while York have made the most of their chances, Fulham have tended to throw away theirs near the line. That's Adams, and it's the last of the 6 tackles. And up it goes from White, hanging in the air, an awkward one, a bit of pushing. That would be a penalty to Fulham. A shoulder was put in, and a bit of fun and games. Adrian Cambriani getting involved, and Redford once again. These two have had an altercation early on.
Yes, well, it's a little bit of panic stations here. It was up and under from Adams first, and there's Cambriani and Redfern having to go, and the fullback has a swing, which is stupid. We saw this a fortnight ago. We can cut this out.
3 minutes of the first half remaining. York 10, Fulham 5. That's Beverley coming on the burst. Again, 10 yards, and take a little steam out of the defence. It's hard running. Herdman. Oh, this young man going well. Like Cambriani was out, he got it out. And it's a penalty. He passed when held. And it looks as if Cambriani is in the midst of it again. Well, let's hope we're not going to have another Huddersfield-type fracas. Otherwise, I doubt whether Mr. Thompson will wait until the second half before he gets somebody into the dressing room. Yes, somebody's going now. Well, it looks like it. Perhaps he's saying get away. He's pulling out Les Sheard, and he's pulling out Malcolm Aspie. The two captains are being told, cool it down, or we're going to play 7 aside. And Les Sheard's laying the law down, certainly to his side. Midgley running across the cover and now straightening up. The last tackle. That's White. Inside to Kurt Blythe. Good movement this. White slipping it to White again, and he's brought down, and a penalty. Penalty to York. That was for a trip. So a chance now for Terry Morgan, right on the stroke of half-time, to edge York. Another 2 points, and therefore 2 scores away from Fulham. Well, 12-5 right on the stroke of half-time would be a vital psychological blow for York. At the moment, Fulham just a try and a goal away from them. This penalty would make the margin 7 points. Once again, the impetuosity of Fulham punished or it will be if Morgan lands this. Morgan with a crucial kick. Oh, he's missed it. On the burst is Herdman. Only been in the game a matter of months, this lad from Rugby Union and Peckham Juniors. Running strongly. There's Wood. And at half-time, the score after a thrilling and pretty full-blooded encounter. York with 2 tries from their scrum half Kevin Harkin and 2 goals from Terry Morgan have 10 points, and Fulham with a try by Cambriani and a goal from McCorkerdale have 5 points.
But Fulham has put a lot of pressure on York, but every time they've got near the York line, they've dropped the ball, whereas York has come back, fought back to the Fulham line, and then they've got the 2 tries through Harkin and the 2 goals by Morgan. That's put them in front 10-5.
So Fulham to play the ball on their own 25, and Beverley to go driving forward. A ground gaining exercise. Doherty acting halfback. Herdman. Doherty, Bowden, and to Hull coming on the burst. Wood. All it needed was an ankle tap from Harkin, and there's a substitute on. That's Tony Gourley is on for Fulham, struggling his way a few extra yards. Tony Gourley, formerly Salford and Rochdale Hornets, and Aspie whacks it into touch. Doesn't bother about getting it on the ground. Such niceties. In the meantime, a substitution. Paul McDermott, who went off with a bleeding face, has replaced Alan Wardle. Paul McDermott comes back on. Wardle goes off. Ganley for Fulham. Herdman gets it out to Doherty, quickly out to Allen. Allen, good, strong running, 10 yards inside the York half. Bowden coming onto it is Hull, and strongly is Wood. Noonan, Hull running into a reception committee of Sheard. York having to tackle well and doing it. Doherty to Bowden, to Gourley. The acting halfback gets it out nicely to Aspie. Aspie to Cambriani. Cambriani still going, looking for a try in field, running sideways, now gets it to Herdman. Good strong running by Herdman, but again good tackling by Bill Kirkbride, the York coach. It's the 5th tackle, it's the last one. And Noonan knocking on. And 6 more tackles, said the referee. A bit lucky for Fulham that. They made a mistake and profited by it because York got a boot to the ball. So 6 more tackles. And here's Aspie running beautifully. Oh, good running by Aspie. Can't get the ball out. Beautiful cover. Superb cover that. Aspie almost went in. There's the play the ball. There's an attempt to go over under the post. He's planted it over. He scored near the post. Allen, I think, the scorer, forced his way over.
Well, from the play the ball here, the stand-off half gets it out to Hull, isn't it? And it just reaches over under 2 or 3 York players' hands, and it's awarded a try very near the post.
Well, I'd give that try to Allen, Neil, Dave Allen. Yes, indeed, the forward turn stand-off half who forced his way through the tackles and just planted it inches over the line. Well, McCorkerdale now to make it 10-10. He does so, well, we have a real game on our hands now. York 10, Fulham 10.
Well, this is an easier kick for McCorkadale, and he makes no bones about this. He goes straight between the post and puts Fulham back at 10-10.
Harkin has it. Bit of a mix-up, but Harkin, the man who finally dived on the ball. Back to McDermott. Looks all right again after that clash of heads that took him off the field early in the game. Dunkley now. It's going to be hard graft now as both these sides look for the winning score. That's a lovely ball, but hard tackle by Leicester. An appeal for a penalty, but Mr. Thompson says it hit him on the chest. And this time there is a penalty. And, well, David Hull is in trouble. David Hull, the loose forward of Fulham's, going for that tackle. David Hull will walk to the dressing room. He caught Sheard, and up from fullback comes Midgley. York pouring it in now. Filippo, Kirkbride, always at the thick of it. Harkin, Adams, beautifully, Crossley, and White plays the ball quickly to himself. A penalty, didn't play the ball properly. White disagrees, but Mr. Thompson would tends to count. And because of the argument, he's pushing York back a further 10 yards. White disagreed that he didn't play the ball properly. Another 10 yards. Well, Brendan White will learn the error of speaking out of turn to a referee. If he argues much more, he'll end up behind his own post. And it's a kickable penalty. From being one inside the Fulham half, it is now 10 yards inside the York half. And, well, is McCorkadale going to know? It looks as if he may go for touch. He thinks it's too long for him, but he could have had a go at goal. Still, it's the platform for an attack. 6 tackles. So Fulham setting off on 6 tackles, 20 yards from the York line. Score 10-10, Leicester. Vital moment this for the York defence. Bowden, Gourley, Bowden again on the burst is Wood. Trying to get it out, does so, and the ball is lost, but Fulham could still have possession, but there's been a knock-on. Wood tried to get that ball out in the tackle, and it rolled on the ground. Lost possession and the scrum, but still in York's danger area. Harkin feeds, comes out cleanly to Bowden and move on. It's the fullback. Oh, Ganley went without the ball. Now here's a chase. A terrific chase now. Midgley's up there, so is Allen, and Allen dives on it. But that's driven Fulham back inside their own half when they were working a move on the York 10-yard line. Ganley dropping the ball, so Fulham have it all to do again. Aspie getting it out. Taken well by Noonan. Well, that looked forward, but certainly nothing said about it as Gourley carried on towards the 25-yard line. Doherty, a dummy, still dummying, still sidestepping through, looking for support. The last tackle, 12 yards from the York line. York defence under severe pressure. Bowden, is there a drop goal on by Aspie? No, he's wide.
Yes, and it goes from the acting half back to Aspie. Aspie tries at one point to try and put them in front, but it goes wide.
To McDermott, to Kirkbride. Oh, what a straight through his Sheard. Sheard's past the fullback, he's going to go to the post. A lovely try, left Ganley for dead. Beautiful move, and Les Sheard, the captain of York, a masterpiece of a try. Went round Chris Ganley so easily, but what a lovely move.
Well, it's a very good move here. Kirkbride makes it. Sheard comes short of him. Round Ganley, and it goes over under the post. A brilliant try for Les Sheard. He'll be very happy about that one.
So York go in front again, break the 10-10 deadlock. And Terry Morgan now to try to make it 15-10 with 5 minutes of normal time remaining. Beautifully worked try, rapturously received by the crowd. Simple kick for Morgan, but a vital one. Yes, it's 15-10. York back in the driving seat.
Right, an easier kick here for Terry Morgan under the post, and makes no mistake about that.
The York crowd, over 7,000 of them, tensely awaiting the final hooter, and what a roar will go up. Penalty to Fulham. Penalty to Fulham. Well, is this the last attack of Fulham as they trail by 15-10? They're going to have to move quickly. Bowden now. Gourley to Allen, to Aspie. Aspie tries a kick, and Price has taken, and that's a vital catch. And Price comes away. Aspie deciding then the kick there is, I think, the hooter. Yes, indeed. The hooter goes, and the final score is York 15, Fulham 10. Most dramatic game decided in the end after Fulham had pulled back to 10-all by a brilliantly worked try made by Kirkbride, the player coach, and finished by the captain, Les Sheard. So York stay top of the table, and their friends are delighted. Neil, a very, very thrilling game, and the result in doubt, really, until the closing seconds.
It was, yes, but I think that York deserved the game on the play, Keith. You know, they kept the ball, they moved the ball when they had to, where Fulham forwards went in, charging in, and they never released the ball in the tackle like York did.
And what about this extra man when Dave Hull went off? That really pulled Fulham back, didn't it?
Oh, yes, and it gave York, you know, the go-ahead to move the ball out a lot more than they did, you know, in the first half.
There were 3 beautiful tries by York. I mean, Kevin Harkin showed great presence of mind on both of his in going for the line.
Oh, yes, he backed up for his first one, and his second one, he saw that Reggie Bowden was stood there and no full-back behind him, so he just chipped it over Edge's head, followed up and scored near the post.
And
Very good.
What a way to win the game, that try made by Kirkbride for Sheard. 5 minutes to go.
It was old mates who used to play at Wakefield together. A good pass to Les Sheard. Les saw the gap, it went through, round the full-back, under the post, and the game was all over there as far as Fulham was concerned.
Well, let's talk a bit about Fulham now, because they did well to come back from 10-3 to 10-10, didn't they?
Well, they did, but they had all the ball in the first half, Keith. I think they won it 8-4 in the scrums, and I think they should have done a little bit more with it, move the ball out like York did, and they didn't do this.
And a very quick word on Cambriani's try, which started it off, well taken by the winger.
It was a brilliant try, yes. He ran 60 yards down this touchline side, but I thought that the full-back Midgley should have had him. He waited for Cambriani to come to him rather than going for Cambriani, but it was a great try, yes.
And both sides for promotion?
Yes, I think they'll both get promoted, but I think they'll have to strengthen the squads, because in the first division it's very hard indeed, and you must have big squads and strong squads to stop with the top setters, you know, top base setters.
And if anybody should know, certainly he should. Neil Fox, a man guaranteed to make any devotee of the game of rugby league run out of superlatives. I think it's also worth noting that the crowd of 7,351 was the second biggest gate anywhere yesterday, beaten only by the Hull-Castleford match in the First Division. So let's now look and see how that game and the rest of the Second Division matches have affected the league table. That win, in fact, kept York on top and on course for a swift return to the top flight, and they still have a game in hand. Wigan, the day's top scorers, beating Doncaster 34-5, stays second, with Fulham 2 points adrift in third spot. Swinton lost ground, beaten 12-10 at Rochdale, all of which is good news for Huddersfield, level on points, but with 2 games in hand. Slater's 3 tries saw them canter home against Hunslet. And Whitehaven, from Cumbria's west coast, still eyeing a promotion place, they won at Dewsbury to keep them in touch. Well, in Division 1, the top sides all changed places to leave the top 8 looking like this tonight. Castleford went back to top spot by 1 point, thanks largely to second-row forward David Finch, now the first-choice goal kicker. He landed 5 of 6 attempts, dropped a goal and scored a try, which meant it was a tremendous personal triumph in a game against Hull that Castleford won 23-16. Well, as I mentioned earlier, Bradford went second, scoring 6 tries in beating Warrington, the latter staying in third place with a 4-game advantage over both the top 2. Wakefield's win over relegation-threatened Workington keeps them 4th. That's just ahead of Hull Kingston Rovers, who have Steve Hubbard and Peter Muscroft to thank for their win at Barrow. Widnes and Leeds, they had the day off, and Hull lost ground with that home defeat. So now to the leading scorers, and York's John Crossley had an uncharacteristically quiet day, but he still leads the season's try scorers with 28. Castleford's Terry Richardson crept a little closer with 1 yesterday to take him on to 24, while Crossley's colleague Paul McDermott is 3rd with 21. Steve Hesford still has the trustiest boot around, and though his club Warrington, as we heard earlier, had had a bad weekend, he kicked 5 more to take him on to 130 goals. That's well ahead of Featherstone's Steve Quinn, who now has 114, and that's well ahead of Ian Ball of Barrow, who has 95. Well, before we go, just let's have a word about Batley's search for players. Not new ones, I hasten to add, but ex-players. The club are celebrating their centenary, and as part of the celebrations, they want to introduce ex-players, some of whom could well now be in their 80s, before they play their game with Fulham on the 12th of April. They'd like the crowd to meet them. Well, they've already traced some of them, who in fact are living abroad, but they still want to find more. So if you used to play for Batley, or indeed know someone who did, well, why not get in touch with the club and help those celebrations really take off? And perhaps we should add our good wishes to Batley in their 100th year. Well, that's more or less it for this week. Next week, our cameras will be at the First Division game between strugglers Oldham and the Championship contenders Wakefield Trinity. I'll see you again next week, back at the usual time of 10:30. Tonight, let's leave you with York's splendid winning try, scored in that win over Fulham yesterday by Les Sheard. Till next week, from all of us, good night.